Congratulations on that new deal. We get to hear you all the way on your 43rd year.
Yeah, no, I start my 43rd year. I'm really excited about it, and I've been very blessed. Detroit was certainly great to me, and I do know Darren in terms of know what he's achieved. He's certainly a superstar. But Tom, the bottom line is I'm a very blessed, lucky guy, and certainly had a great time while I was in the Motor City. People were so nice there. I used to love being there. I just didn't like the weather, though, man. I like it down here where it's right now 77 degrees about here in Florida.
I love it, Coach. It's great to talk to you again. I'm going to start out, obviously, because the McCarty Cancer Foundation back in the day was a recipient of yourself being our keynote speaker, and I can't thank you enough for the experience and being around. But what I want to talk about is what's something near and dear to your heart is the Dickie V Foundation and all the stuff that Jim Valvano and what yourself and all your colleagues have done over the years. Can you speak about that? Obviously, just a little bit.
I remember speaking at your event. I had a great time down there when I spoke there. But my event is May 7th. I have the Dick Vitale Gala, and we honor some big-name celebrities. And what we do is bring a bunch of celebrities here to join us, and we raise a lot of money all for kids battling cancer. That's what I'm obsessed with. If people want to learn more about it, guys, they just simply go to dickvitale.com, go to my website, and everything's right there spelled out, and how any donation they make. And I really need donations badly, because really with the pandemic, the one thing is cancer doesn't stop. For example, today, and Darren, you know this, your foundation, today 45 to 50 mothers and fathers are going home and they're hearing words no mom and dad ever wants to hear. Your child has cancer. It's just life-changing, life-changing. So the bottom line is I need some help. So I like the people in the Motor City to step up big time. Go to dickvitale.com, make a donation, or you can buy one of my items, my books, basketballs, hats, whatever you buy. Every dollar that I would make, every dollar goes for kids battling cancer. We've right now raised $37 million thus far.
Wow.
We love you, Coach. You're the best. I had you on many times in the past on WJR and all the other platforms here in the Motor City. I got a picture of you, actually, when you were the Pistons head coach, and I see George Blaha sticking his microphone in your face and all, but great pictures and great times when you were here in the Motor City taking over for our Pistons. Of course, UDM, Detroit Mercy before that.
Well, I had a great time there. There's no question about it. People treated me great. Even Bill Davidson fired me. He didn't want to fire me. He kept telling me, "You're your biggest enemy. You want to get it done. You want to get it done now. We know it's going to take 5 years." I said, 5 years? Mr. Davidson, I could coach till I'm blue in the face. We can't beat Dr. J and the Sixers. We can't beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I need to go get me some players, man. I can't. One thing in the NBA, you're kind of locked in contractually. You can't do a whole lot. And that becomes a problem. And I wasn't a very patient guy, because everywhere I've been, I was lucky enough to win, whether it be high school state championships, whether it be at Rutgers getting a great recruiting class that helped them go to the Final Four in '76, whether it be at UD, going with a bunch of great kids, great players, John Long, Terry Durock, God bless him up in heaven, and I think about certainly Terry Tyler. I mean, we had some great, great players over the years, and, oh, man, it was a special time to win 21 games in a row, go on to the NCAA Tournament, go to the Sweet 16. Those were special, special moments. I just didn't like all the snow and ice.
I don't blame you.
I love it. Talking to Dick Vitale at Dickie V, obviously basketball legend. How about this year's? You mentioned the Sweet 16 and stuff, but how about this year's tournament from your perspective? Is this sort of what you expected, it being COVID and with teams not really knowing? We mentioned it before. Teams don't really know how good Baylor is because they haven't seen them play, and Gonzaga, what they're doing. What's Dickie V's opinion of coming down with these Final Four teams and what he's seen so far in the tournament?
Well, I think, first of all, to have a tournament was certainly a blessing. I wrote a book last year called The Lost Season, and it was all about the fact we didn't have a tournament. One good thing with the book is all the money goes for kids battling cancer. I autograph them as well if people want to go there at dickvitale.com, but to get an autographed copy. The situation is this. We're lucky we have a tournament. And there was times during the course of the season this year, I thought maybe the tournament would be probably a thing dreaming about, that it wouldn't be a reality. We had teams getting COVIDs, various teams, and Michigan suffered a while. Michigan State suffered. I mean, go on and on. It was just time to deal with really, really tough times. But the situation is we got a tournament. I took the hat and I commend Dan Gavin and the people, the NCAA, for pulling this off with this bubble. The only negative was the one team. I feel so bad for those kids and their coaches. VCU had to drop out because they tested positive, a player or two, and that was really sad in a way. But the bottom line is to get this to where we're at, I think it's just been a great achievement, and we're going to have an exciting tournament. And we got there Gonzaga, who I was on the Dan Patrick show earlier. Gonzaga right now is playing. Some people say, could they be the best team ever? Well, I don't know about that, but they're the best team in this era right now, in the era, because they do so many good things. One, they lead the nation in scoring. Two, they lead the nation in field goal percentage. Three, they lead the nation in a stat that really excites me, in assists per game, 18 assists per game. That tells me they're sharing the ball. That tells me they're unselfish. That tells me they're always playing for the best shot. So they're going to be a tough team to beat because they defend as well. But UCLA has been a shock. UCLA came into the tournament on a 4-game losing streak. They played Michigan State, Tom Izzo's club, in the play-in game. They play a team that had 2 weeks earlier had beaten 3 teams in the top 5 in the country, Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio State, and the Spartans, and they find a way to win that game in overtime, and it's been survive and advance. They beat Michigan, a number 1 seed in their region. They turn around, they also beat Alabama, a number 2 seed in that region. So again, don't count them out. This is not the NBA. It's not 4 out of 7. Right now, everybody's saying, everywhere I go, I hear, they got no shot with Gonzaga. No shot. I heard that same cry on a regular basis when my buddy Jimmy V in 1983 was chasing the title. It was always no shot against Phi Slama Jama with Olajuwon and Drexler. Well, you couldn't tell it to Jimmy V, and you certainly couldn't tell it to his kids because they went out in there, controlled tempo of the game, and won. And so one game, would they beat them 4 out of 7? No. And there's no way that UCLA would beat Gonzaga 4 out of 7. But one game, you never know. I'm still picking Gonzaga like everybody else, but you don't know. That's why we call it March Madness. The other game, you mentioned Baylor. Baylor, prior to COVID-19, was as good as anybody. They were playing great basketball. Then they went through a little struggle when they came back after the big pause they had. But they're really now setting it straight once again. But they're not going to have any cupcake at all with Houston, because Houston defends as good as almost anybody in the nation. Kelvin Sampson spoke to him yesterday. His kids come to play defensively, and they also are one of the top offensive rebounding teams. So, again, if they can do that against, it's not going to be easy, against Baylor, they got a chance. But Baylor also leads the nation in shooting threes. So the bottom line is if they get a streak going, knocking down threes, they'll be tough to beat. And it would set up, if they win like I think they will, I think it's going to be Gonzaga and Baylor, and how beautiful that'll be, because they both were preseason before the season started by all the experts, number 1 and number 2. This one time it shows the experts might be right.
Dick Vitale joins us. We're honored to have him. 43 years coming up with ESPN. Sports writers, sports broadcasters Hall of Fame, Naismith's Hall of Fame. You can go on and on. DickieV.com, DickVitale.com, and the V Foundation. I got to ask you about our Coach of the Year, Juwan Howard in Michigan. His second year takes Michigan to the precipice of the Final Four. They had a bad night the other night. They lose. Tell me about Juwan Howard, and I want to ask you about Tom Izzo. People around here, people are saying you can't coach like Tom Izzo anymore. He can't grab players, blah, blah, blah. This is Tom Izzo that we're talking about. So I know I gave you a double-edged sword here, so let's hear what you got to say about those two great coaches.
Well, you give me double edges, no doubt about it. I'll tell you, number 1, Juwan Howard was my choice as National Coach of the Year and did a brilliant job. I mean, it's right there. He did a brilliant job. He and his players, they suffered a tough break losing Livers. I mean, Livers was such a vital part of that team. He started in a Final Four before. He's got experience. What a major loss. But they never whined and cried about it. They went out and they played. And Brandon John stepped in, did a solid job. Brown off the bench was terrific. They just couldn't make shots at the end of that game against UCLA. Credit UCLA with some good defense, but also a little pressure there. They missed their last 8 shots in a 2-point loss. So they couldn't control the kid Johnny Juzang either. We have 29 out of 51 points. I mean, I wonder what they're thinking in Kentucky. He was at Kentucky last year and barely got off the bench. I mean, he didn't play a whole lot of minutes, and here he is now at UCLA. He's become the star of stars of the tournament. But Juwan's done a great job, and this is only the beginning because really the recruiting class coming in is rated number 1 in the country. And I'm just hope and pray that I know he's going to get wanted big time by the NBA teams, and I hope and pray he just stays where he's at in Ann Arbor. We need guys like Juwan in the college ranks. The other part, Tom Izzo, come on. Tom Izzo is still as effective as can be. Tom Izzo can flat out coach. He knows how to motivate. He knows how to inspire. Lost a heartbreaker to a team that's now in the Final Four. So that just tells you right there. I mean, come on, grabbing a player. Give me a break. That was nothing but love. He has such love for that kid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Carly
Thank
and
you,
Austin
Coach.
have been so close to him all their lives.
Amen. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. We love Tom Izzo. A lot of people these days like to say, you can't coach that way. He's got to change. I'm like, no, he doesn't. If I send my kid to Michigan State, I want him to be with Tom Izzo. You do what you want with my kid. My kid, that's like a second father to him.
Well, you don't want anybody to put a hand on anybody. I mean, let's face reality. And he didn't really put a hand on the kid. What do you do? Grab him by the jersey there or something, walk it out, making a big mess out of that. Give me a break. Go back to the days when coaches were really, where's discipline? Where are we getting discipline? Where are we getting the direction? Right now, the one thing that bugs me big time, I was on Don Patrick all about it. I put 5 tweets about it today. Full of people follow me on Twitter at Dickie V.
Of course.
I put 5 tweets in a row all about it. The transfer portal is now absurd. It has created such chaos. The fact that kids can transfer without sitting a year, it is absurd and ludicrous, and it's going to ruin the game. Coaches now are losing players. There's 1,100 right now in the portal, and we got months to go yet. Kids, you look at them the wrong way, they're going to transfer because they know they can play right away, okay? And people say, well, coaches can move on, so why can't a kid move on? Coaches don't have to sit out a year. I agree with that, but it's not apples to apples. You don't have 1,100 coaches losing jobs. I mean, come on. It's only 357 teams in Division I, but you can't compare it. And the second thing I said today in one of my tweets, you solve that issue easily, and you solve that argument. If a coach is fired or a coach leaves for another job, all those kids on that roster, on his team, should have the right and the option to go anywhere they want and be eligible immediately like the coach is. That should be an automatic.
I like
and
that.
that thing has got me really frustrated because I love the game so much, and I see what's happening out there. It's crazy. I think it's going to play a role in coaches leaving coaching.
Man.
I mean, that's how chaotic it is. It's really it's a nightmare.
Well, look at Roy Williams. He retires after all those years playing. Now, who's going to take over for him, Dickie V? Could it be one of his ex-players?
I don't know really what's going on there. I think Roy got a little frustrated with some of the things, obviously, what's happening in today's day and age. But I don't know if that's the whole party. He coached 48 years, whether high school, college, Kansas, and Carolina, and did a marvelous job. Was a tremendous. How good did I think he was? I did a book called My Mount Rushmores, which people can get as well. And that book is the 4 best players, 4 best coaches, 4 best in all these categories during my 40 years at ESPN, 40-plus years. And Roy Williams was one of my 4 best coaches, along with his mentor, Dean Smith, and along with Mike Krzyzewski and his mentor, Bob Knight. They were the 4 best coaches that I've had to see and work and watch what they achieved in their tenure. I mean, you're talking about guys that won multiple national championships and just special coaches. So Roy's going to be missed, but I think he got a little bit fed up. I don't know that for a fact, but I think that he got fed up with hearing that like a star player of his now decided to enter the portal. Walker Kessler, everybody thought he'd be an instant superstar next year, that he was going to be one of the real dominant players, and he decides he wants to go elsewhere. And I don't think that's sat well with Roy.
We're talking to Mr. Big Shot himself, DickVitale.com, at Dickie V. Get his books, The Last Season, My Mount Rushmore. Actually, Dickie, thank you, because yesterday I was having this conversation when Roy Williams retired, and I named your Mount Rushmore of coaches, trying to name Maz's. I like yours a lot better, so I just really did. I named all those coaches yesterday, but those are awesome. One of the things that I want to know, 43+ years, you just renewed to be with the ESPN.
Thank you. Great
What
job.
is it, yes, for all of us, but what is it that drives your motor still to this day after watching all this basketball and the love of it? What drives Dickie V?
I just enjoy life, man. I enjoy getting up every day. Enjoy, just having a plan for that day and making sure I go out and try to make the plan happen. I've always people ask, where did you get your energy? Where did you get your enthusiasm? I grew up in a great family. My mother and father, as I do loads of speeches across the day, I did it. This is unbelievable. I can't believe this. I have done at least, I think the number was, my wife said, 15 virtual speeches in the month of March for corporations all over the place. And I do a lot of speaking, black tie events, banquets like yours, your event. Certainly that was a special place. But the bottom line is, I grew up in a family that was so much love. And my mother and father were uneducated. They had a 5th grade education, but they had a doctorate of love. And they taught me in this great country, number one, to chase your dreams and chase your goals. And never, ever, my mother would always say to me, Richie, never, ever believe in cat. I lost my eye as a kid. I thought it was the end of the world. But the love I received from my mother and father was so special and so unique. I was a really young kid when that happened. I was about 3 or 4 years of age. But the bottom line is they were always at my side, always preaching to me I could be what anybody else is. And if you would have told me today, I'm standing here talking to you, and that I'm 43 years at ESPN, I am now 14 Hall of Fames. You mentioned the Naismith and the broadcasting and the sportscasting Hall of Fame. Those are all special. But also special is being in the Hall of Fame at the University of Detroit. Special being in the Hall of Fame where I coached at high school. Special being in the Hall of Fame in the city I grew up in. All those things, and special the Italian Hall of Fame. So again, I've done so many Hall of Fames, and I can't run, I can't jump, I can't shoot. I got a body by linguine, lasagna, you name it. And it's just really, I've been so blessed because all my life, my parents instilled passion and pride. And when you got passion and when you got pride and you got a sense of drive and desire, I guarantee you Mr. McCarthy had that. That's why he became such a star in terms of playing. You don't get there by accident. I've often said, I just did a talk the other day and I said, you know what drives, like right here we're on cloud 9 because Tom Brady led us to the Super Bowl. Guys like Tom Brady, LeBron James, all the Magic Johnson, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, all the great ones, Isaiah Thomas, they all had within them that incredible thirst, and I bet Darren had it as well, the thirst of always being better today than they were yesterday. Those guys don't. LeBron sitting there saying, oh, I've been MVP X number of years. He's out there saying, man, I want to do something special this year. And that's what makes people special. My message, I got to close with you guys, got to get running, but my message to any young kid that might be listening, if you follow this, you'll be a success. Every night when you go to bed, you look in the mirror. As you're getting ready, you wash your face, you look in the mirror. And if you can hold your head up high and not drop your face or drop your head because you're embarrassed what you did during the day, if you can hold that head up high and you can look in that mirror directly and say, I was better today as a person than I was yesterday. And if you do that every day of your life, my God, what a success you'll be. But unfortunately, and you know, Darren, in the NHL or the NBA or wherever, Major League Baseball, there are a lot of guys that have talent, and many of them sometimes destroy it all in 1 minute because they can't make a good decision about the game of life, the game we all play. How about the drug scene, the alcohol scene, you name it. I mean, that's part of being a winner, is making good decisions in your life.
Love it.
Dick, yeah, I hope that every young person, the younger generation, really doesn't just hear what you say, but listens, because you said so many great things in what you just said to us. So great advice, especially for so many people that look up to you and just for the younger generation in general. You mentioned Tom Brady. Your Tampa Bay sports teams are doing pretty amazing things, aren't they, my friend?
Yeah, well, the Rays came so close last year to the World Championship.
Should have won it.
I still go crazy knowing that we took out Blake Snell.
Kevin Cash.
With a 1-zip lead in the sixth inning. I mean, that drives me nuts, even though Kevin Cash is a terrific manager. And then with that analytics, sometimes you got to forget those analytics. And then we got Brady. And what about John Cooper and the Lightning? They're terrific again, Darren. They are terrific
They
again.
are.
Watch out. If they get back, Kucherov, I think, is I don't know. He says he's working out with the team. I say watch my guy John Cooper and the Lightning.
Can never count them out.
We love you, Dickie V. Thank you again for
Yes.
taking all this time with us. God bless.
And of course, make sure that you go to the
Well,
website.
God bless you. I love the Motor City, man. It's been great. Are the Tigers going to be any good this year?
Oh yes, we started well, didn't we?
You can't win them all if you don't win the first
Well,
one.
you want to know.
We're
that's
1-0,
right.
baby. We're
First place,
1-0.
Dickie. First place, Coach.
Make sure that you are checking out Dick
All right,
Vitale
guys.
on.
Thanks a lot.
God
Thanks a
bless.
lot,
See you,
Dick.
I'm
Dick.
doing a game tomorrow, by the way, on ESPN International. We're heard in 300 countries around the world. So I'll be doing a game on ESPN International. CBS has the rights in the States, and I'll do the championship on Monday night. So go to Canada, they can hear me doing the game.
Hey, we'll bring you up on the internet somehow, Coach. Thank you.
Love it,
Yes,
Coach. Thank
thanks so
you.
much for joining us. Make sure
Take
that you
care,
get-
guys.
Bye now.
Thank you that you're going to dickvitaleonline.com. You can get more information about his gala that's happening Friday, May 7th. It's going to be at the Ritz-Carlton in Sarasota, Florida. So
I know what I'm
if
buying
you're-
Maz. I'm buying Maz the Mount Rushmore, Dickie Vitale's book, so he can read up on the real Mount Rushmore.
Hey.
Because his is obviously not right. or
Hey, I've
something.
gotten plenty of things from Dickie V's website. I love giving to the V Foundation. I do it often.
Great cause.
It's I still get tears in my eyes when I see him at the first ESPYs. They call it the Dickie V Award. They call it the Jim Valvano Award, the Courage Award, for a reason. I mean, the man was phenomenal. 1983, taking the North Carolina State Wolfpack, beating Phi Slamma Jamma and those guys.
Drexler and Olajuwon.
And it was an amazing win. I remember it was a hell of a game, a hell of a finish. And if he could do it, anybody could do it. It's a great 30 for 30 on him as well. But it's wonderful to give to the Dickie V Foundation, to the Jimmy V Foundation.
Yeah.
The V Foundation, they call it. My bad.
Yeah. So make sure you're going online and supporting in any way that you can, even if it's just getting the word out. That's just as great as a donation as well.